I would like to welcome everybody to today's AAC Responsive Culture training. AAC's responsiveness culture is extremely important to our organization. Today's agenda is going to be talking about listening and caring, Siri and Amazon, outcomes, culture, and attitude. Who are you responsive to? What is responsiveness? Wasting time, our responsiveness policy, being a professional, various types of communication patterns, unexpected events, and responsiveness as always is necessary in business. AAC's responsiveness culture, listening and caring. Sharon Will says, in order to be effective, be responsive. In order to be responsive, listen. If you're being responsive, the other person knows you are paying attention and care enough about what he or she is talking about. And this shows a sign of being respectful and understanding and truly listening to each other in the workplace. When you look at these symbols right here, you know, Siri and Amazon. With Siri, you can get the weather within 3 seconds. With Amazon, it can deliver packages literally in a few hours. Responsiveness is necessary in the business world. If Siri and Amazon can be responsive, we can be responsive in this type of situation, in this type of work environment where we are not in an office and we are working remotely. The outcomes culture. As we discussed in the past, the corporate telework outcomes culture, what we call CTOC, is where our projects equal working remotely. In the corporate teleworks outcome culture, again, no one is watching you work. Remote work equals being responsive. And in the corporate telework outcomes culture, we only focus on outcomes. In order to have effective and proper outcomes, you need to be responsive. So why is responsiveness important? For starters, being responsive, it helps managers to effectively track and help track progress and what is going on with each project. Being responsive assists us in identifying any scheduling issues before they occur. Being responsive allows us to utilize the team's talents to their full potential. So in order to be effective and efficient on a team, you need to be responsive to management and to fellow team members. Why is responsiveness important? The concept that we have at AAC is no is better than I don't know. And what does this exactly mean? Well, as management and leadership, we need to prepare different reports and provide updates to customers and clients. And when a manager or a leader in the company is asked by a customer or superior, when will tasks be completed, it's far better to report that the task will not be completed at this time and then to say, oh, well, we're not sure. So for example, sorry, no, this will not be completed at this time is much better when they say, when will this be completed? And we say, I don't know. And the reason why we'd say, I don't know, is because we haven't heard from members of the team. So this is why responsiveness is extremely important. Now, even if you have a negative issue to report, like something is delayed, or you have a personal issue or a personal problem, please let us know. Because then It will help us be able to report, okay, we can't get you these reports right now. We will be able to get them to you next week. It's much better than when asked, where's the report? And we say, oh, I don't know. Again, no is better than I don't know. We're here to help you. We fully understand that life happens. Situations happen. People get sick. Things, problems occur. But the only thing that will make a negative situation worse is not to let someone know. So if there's an issue that you can't finish up a report, or you can't finish a project, or you can't meet a deadline, please tell us. We will help you, but we can only help you if we know. A responsiveness culture is a major change in attitude. Working remotely comes responsibility, because we're not there looking over your shoulder. We're not walking by an office. So if you're working remotely, you need to be responsible. And we absolutely feel that responsiveness is thoughtful and considerate to everyone. And being responsive is, again, a change in attitude, and it's a complete mindset that I'm working remotely, I'm not in an office space, and so in order to be a mature adult and a professional, you need to change any previous attitudes about work and change your mindset and realize, in order to be effective and efficient, I need to be responsive and responsive to everybody. So what is responsiveness exactly? What do we mean by saying, oh, we value responsiveness? Well, responsiveness is returning calls, emails, and text in a timely manner. Again, responsiveness is professional, respectful, courteous, and it shows that you're a qualified individual who is worthy of having this job. Most importantly, responsiveness establishes trust. When you get back to people, it establishes a relationship and a positive trust that shows you're a professional who is there for you and who wants to be as effective and efficient as possible. But who are you responsive to? This is always the big question. Well, you should be responsive to the customers. You should be responsive to coworkers, to managers. You need to be responsive to inquiries or requests. Basically, the short answer is be responsive to everybody, to everyone. Again, in our culture, you're responsive to everyone. Management needs to be responsive to all subject matter experts like you. And subject matter experts is the expectation, that key concept of expectation is that you will be responsive to management and your fellow team members. Wasting time. One of our major philosophies is don't waste anybody's time. When you're responsive, it saves time. But one thing that we found is that very often when you need to respond to somebody and emails are going back and forth, very often a 5 to 10 minute phone call saves a great amount of time. So when in doubt, just simply pick up the phone, make a phone call. It literally can save 10 to 20 to 30 emails in a very 5 to 10 minute phone call. What's our policy? Our policy at AAC is very simple. We have a 12-hour rule. If someone sends you an email, we expect that you get back to them within 12 hours. Again, we're not watching where you work or when you work or even how you work, but we do want you to get back to us within 12 hours if someone emails you. But there are other situations. So when you have a communication and you can't respond, what you need to do is you need to get back to the person as soon as possible and just simply say, I'm very busy at the moment. Can we schedule a time to speak on Monday morning at 10:00 Eastern Time? This is what you really need to do. You don't get back to them and say, sorry, I can't meet with you now. That doesn't really tell people anything. You need to be very specific. Sorry, I can't get back to you now and communicate with you, but we can meet at Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Thank you very much. That's a very professional, respectful way to do it. Silence is worrisome. Not hearing from you is much worse than missing a deadline or a problem. So if we communicate with you, please get back to us. And literally this email here, I'm very busy at the moment, takes less than a minute. So take 1 minute of your time, schedule another time to meet, and everyone will be much happier and the team will be much appreciative of what you're doing. So here's the policy. Basically, again, email within 12 hours. If someone texts you, that kind of means it's more important than just an email. So if you get a text, we would say respond as soon as you can. The sooner the better. And if someone calls you, call them back as soon as possible. Because the situation is an email is just typical business. If someone is texting you, it's at a higher priority level. And if they're calling you, then it's probably something more serious. So please be responsive and just get back to them as soon as possible. We think this is a very fair and very practical and very effective policy. Recognition. When you see responsiveness from coworkers and leaders, recognize it. When someone is responsive to you, just say to them, thank you for getting back to me. It's really wonderful that you got back to me so quickly. Because this makes people understand that you're listening to them and you're recognizing them, that they're being very professional and very positive. Disregarding coworkers, ignoring communication, again, is very disrespectful and unprofessional. Rarely do we have this problem, but once in a while people ignore communications, and it really leads to a poor, positive, professional environment. Again, follow-up is essential. We want you to follow up and clarify if everything is on track. Is everything in order? Is everything going the way it should be? And if not, by communicating, we will help you. Leadership and management will help you clarify everything and get you on track and be more effective and efficient. And responsiveness is critical for creating better relationships, trust, and a professional rapport among everybody in the organization. This is extremely important, communication patterns. People work differently at different times. And as we are in a corporate telework outcomes culture, you're not coming into an office. So people have different patterns of communication. Some people like to communicate early in the morning. Some prefer in the middle of the afternoon. Some people, about 20-25% of people, are what we call night owls, and they like to communicate more at night. So what you need to do with you and your team members is immediately up front communicate with them and tell them, I prefer to talk after 6 p.m. or I prefer to talk before 10 a.m. in the morning. And just make sure that you're all on the same track and you have the same concept of when you wish to communicate. There isn't one right answer. It's what works for you, and it works for your teammates, and sometimes how it works with the customers. What's important is that you decide on how the information be shared with everybody so everyone can stay in touch with each other at correct times. Now, at this time in history, it's important to stay connected. Again, you're in a corporate teleworks outcome culture. You're not going into an office. So you can be anywhere you want, but we have technology that can keep you connected to everybody. So in order to respond, you need to make sure that you're available. And we have iPhones, smartphones, various devices, and it's very easy to stay connected. But basically, you cannot respond if you don't know that there's something to respond to. So please, just be there, stay connected. If you can't talk at this time, again, go back to, I can't talk right now, but I can talk to you on Friday morning at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. or 12 noon or 3 p.m. Unexpected events. We all know about this. Things happen, life happens. No one wants the unexpected event to happen, but it's good to be ready when it does. So before an event happens, or before someone doesn't get back to you, or before there's a problem in communication, think about possible problems that could pop up and make a plan on how to respond. The act of thinking through potential problems help you no matter what does arise. But please think about it, because you don't want to, if someone doesn't get back to you and then you get angry with them and then realize something terrible happened. So expect the unexpected and just think, oh, if so-and-so does not get back to me, how will I respond to them to be effective, efficient, compassionate, understanding, and professional? Responsiveness is necessary in business, especially in a corporate telework outcomes culture. Be ready, willing, and able, and available to help when needed. Responsiveness is what we like to say is respectful, it's mature, and it's professional. Again, being responsive is respectful, it's mature, and it shows that you are dedicated professional. So reviewing the key concepts of AAC's responsiveness culture. Again, it's about listening and caring to each other and understanding each other. It's realizing that if Siri and Amazon can be responsive, so can we. It reinforces the idea that in a corporate telework outcomes culture, you can work where you want, when you want, how you want, as long as the outcomes are positive. But in order for outcomes to be positive, you need to be responsive. Who are you responsive to? Basically everybody. What is responsiveness? It's sending the emails, the texts, the calls, it's getting back together. At AAC, wasting time is something we never like to do. Wasting your time and wasting our time. You know our responsiveness policy, 12 hours for an email. If someone texts you, get back to them immediately. If someone calls, get back to them as soon as possible. Responsiveness is being a professional, and you need to do that by setting up very clear communication patterns. You need to realize that unexpected events occur and how are you going to respond to them. And ultimately, in the corporate teleworks outcome culture, that responsiveness is necessary in order to be successful in any business. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated.